Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Giribharadhari Jana Vallabha Giribharadhari Gopijana Vallabha Giribharadhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vannachari Jamunatira Vannachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Shatashi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Shatashi Srimad His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Prense Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Garantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonum, Chapter 8. Lord Krishna shows the universal form within his mouth. Text 50 to 52. Text 50. Astviti Uktasabhagavan Brajedro no Mahajasha Jnanenanda iti kyato Jashoda Shadhara Bhavat Astyutyukta Sabhagavam Brajedro no Mahajasha Jagyenanda iti kyato Jashoda Shadhara Bhavat Astyutyukta Sabhagavam Brajedro no Mahajasha Jagyenanda iti kyato Jashoda Shadhara Bhavat. Please read. Astyutyukta Sabhagavam Brajedrono Mahajasha Jagye Nanda iti kyato Jashoda Shadhara Bhavat. Ashtu, when Brahma agreed, yes, it's all right. Iti ukta, thus been ordered by him. Saha, he, Drona, Bhagavan, eternally the father of Krishna. Bhagavan's father is also Bhagavan. Braje, in Brajabhumi, Vrindavan. Dronaha, Drona, the most powerful Basu. Mahajashaha, the very famous transcendentalist. Jagye, appear. Nandaha, as Nanda Maharaj. Iti, thus. Kyataha, is celebrated. Jashoda, as Mother Jashoda. Sa, she. Dhara, the same Dhara. Abhabhat, appeared. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. When Brahma said, yes, let it be so, the most fortunate Drona, who was equal to Bhagavan, appeared in Brajapura, Vrindavan, as the most famous Nanda Maharaj, and his wife Dara appeared as Mother Yashoda. Purport. Because whenever Krishna appears on this earth, he superficially needs a father and mother. Drona and Dhara, his eternal father and mother, appear on earth before Krishna as Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. In contrast to Sutapa and Prishni, they did not undergo severe penances and austerities to become the father and mother of Krishna. This is the difference between Nitya Siddha and Sadhana Siddha. Tato Bhaktir Bhagavati, text 51. Tato Bhaktir Bhagavati, Putri Bhutte Janardane, Danpatyorni Taran Asit, Gopa Gopi Shubharata. Translation. Thereafter, O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Bharat, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead became the son of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, that maintained continuous, unswerving devotional love in parental affection, and in their association all the other inhabitants of Vrindavan, the Gopas and the Gopis, developed the culture of Krishna Bhakti. Purport. Although when the Supreme Personality of Godhead stole the butter, curd, and milk of the neighboring Gopas and Gopis, these teasings superficially seemed troublesome. In fact, it was an exchange of affection in the ecstasy of devotional service. The more the Gopas and Gopis exchange feelings with the Lord, the more the devotional service increase. Sometimes we may superficially see that a devotee is in difficulty because of being engaged in devotional service. But the fact is different. When a devotee suffers for Krishna, the suffering is transcendental enjoyment. Unless one becomes a devotee, this cannot be understood. When Krishna exhibited his childhood pastimes, not only did Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda increase the devotional affection, but those in their association also increased in devotional service. In other words, persons who follow the activities of Vrindavan will also develop devotional service in the highest perfection. Text number 52. Krishno Brahmana Adesham Satyam Kartum Braja Vibhu Saharamo Bashanchakre Tesham Prakritin Swalilaja. What's going on there? Translation. The Supreme Personality Krishna along with Balaram live in Brajabhumi, Vrindavan, just to substantiate the benediction of Brahma. By exhibiting different pastimes in his childhood, he increased the transcendental pleasure of Nanda and the other inhabitants of Vrindavan. Purport. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 10th canto, 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Lord Krishna shows the universal form within his mouth. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurube Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Ramapaswami Namine. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatyade Shatarine Bancha Kalpa Taruvyasha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. So Parikshit Maharaj asked a question to Sukadev Goswami that appreciating the amazing quality of devotion of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda and all the gopis and the gopas of Vrindavan. And he contrasted that to the devotional service of other devotees, specifically of Vasudeva and Devaki. And not necessarily saying that or neglecting the position of Vasudeva and Devaki, but rather just appreciating the extraordinary sort of exchange of intimacy, affection, and quality of the love that was exchanged between Krishna and Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda. Specifically, he mentioned the enjoyment of the childhood pastimes and the picture of Krishna being nursed by Mother Yashoda was greatly appreciated by Maharaj Parikshit. Something that none other devotees, have, but it was possible in Vrindavan, and especially the position of Mother Yashoda as the topmost devotee in that mood of parental rasa. And he just heard how the exchange that was there between Krishna and Mother Yashoda, while Krishna displaying all his powerful opulences of, within his mouth displaying the whole universe, cosmic manifestation. And how, in despite of all that display of unlimited potency, Mother Yashoda devotion and mood was not disturbed in the least. It's just a moment, a little moment, but immediately went back to the position of her seeing Krishna as the most beloved child. So he asked, how do they get to that position? In general, it was explained before that Krishna's Vasudeva and Devaki in their previous life as Sutapa and Prishni, they perform great austerities to be able to become Krishna's parents. So how it happens, that how did Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj got to the position that is even more exalted than that of Vasudeva and Devaki? What kind of activities they perform? And then Lord Brahma, he narrated, he answered that actually they did not perform any austerities. When Lord Brahma requested them to have progeny, part of many of the sons, direct sons, and the progeny of Lord Brahma, their service was to help him populate the whole universe. So it is explained that this great personality is the best of the Vasus, right? The best, what does it say? The most powerful Vasu, Drona, and his wife Dhara, they requested Lord Brahma that let us appear in earth, in Vrindavan, to perform this service of being Krishna, the parents of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So, and very wonderfully, which is, I think this is the part that I appreciated most of this particular series of verses, that this is how Lord Brahma, he narrates that Sukadev Goswami narrates the Drona and Dhara, asking Lord Brahma for this benediction. Please permit us to be born on the planet Earth, so that after our appearance, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller and Master of all the planets, will also appear and spread devotional service, the ultimate goal of life, so that those born in this material world may very easily be delivered from the miserable condition of materialistic life by accepting this devotional service. So they understood the purpose of Lord Krishna, that he will appear to spread devotional service. And the reason he would spread devotional service will be to actually deliver all the conditioned souls that are entangled in the miserable condition of materialistic life. So the term that is used is Bhakti Syat Paramaloke. So this Bhakti, devotional service, will be spread as the ultimate goal of life in the world. That's what this Bhakti Syat Paramaloke. That's the purpose of the Lord Krishna. So they appear to participate in this desire, this activity of the Lord, this lila, this pastime of actually spreading the cult of bhakti. And then in text number 51, then the Sanskrit is Tato Bhaktir Bhagavati. Prabhupada translates Bhakti Bhagavati, the call of bhakti, devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, what perfect example of someone who is absorbed in this culture of bhakti that the Lord wanted to spread or give to all the conditioned souls. So Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda were perfect examples to assist the Lord with that. And what it says here is they maintain continuous, unswerving devotional love in parental affection. And in their association, all the other inhabitants of Vrindavan, the gopis, developed that same culture of bhakti. So the culture of bhakti that is spoken here, that both Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda were to assist the Lord to spread this culture of bhakti to all the conditioned souls that are suffering in this material world. Prabhupada explains that is the culture of, is a specific culture of bhakti, is called Braja Bhakti. It's the devotional service that you find in Goloka Vrindavan, the planet of Krishna. So Prabhupada ends the end of the purport of this verse 51. He says, those in their association of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda also increase in devotional service. In other words, persons, and this is the part that I take. In other words, persons who follow the activities of Vrindavan will also develop devotional service in the highest platform. So, we know that Krishna appears once in a day of Brahma. And when he appears, his personal associates also appear to assist him in his pastimes in this world. When Krishna comes, then he has a particular also mission to perform. In general, we hear that the mission of Krishna is to establish the principles of religion, to benefit those who are devotees, to give pleasure to the devotees, and to annihilate the demons. But particularly, this appearance, this rare appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, he also comes to give something that is that only that can be only be delivered by Krishna himself, which is and this is what is called the highest perfection, or the highest level of bhakti, which is the bhakti that is performed or that is found in Krishna's personal planet or Krishna's personal abode, Goloka Vrindavan. And that's a culture that that is basically displayed in this pastimes in Vrindavan that Krishna has here in this material world. So, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He writes about Krishna's thinking, and that clarifies, this purpose that he have to bring or to deliver or to be able to be the giver of this Braja Bhakti to the people of the world. And this is in the Adi Lila chapter 3 that explains about the external the external purposes of Krishna's appearance. So it's a series of verses I'm going to read. Absorbed in such transcendental love, Lord Sri Krishna enjoys in Braj with his eternal servants, friends, parents, and conjugal lovers. So that transcendental love that is displayed there is the highest level or the highest display of devotion that is that can be achieved or exists. Lord Krishna enjoys his transcendental pastimes as long as he wishes, and then he disappears. After disappearing, however, he thinks thus. Oh, so this is basically saying that the context is explaining Krishna's pastimes in this world. But when Krishna concludes his pastimes in this material world, then he thinks a follow. For a long time, I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me, upon the inhabitants of the world. Without such loving attachments, the existence of the material world is useless. Everywhere in the world, people worship me according to scriptural injunctions. But simply by following such regulated principles, one cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotees in Brajabhumi. Knowing my opulences, the whole world looks upon me with awe and veneration. But devotion made feeble by such reverence does not attract me. By performing such regulated devotional service in awe and veneration, one may go to Vaikuntha and obtain the 4 kinds of liberation. These liberations are Shasti, achieving opulence equal to those of the Lord; Sarupya, having a form the same as the Lord; Samipya, living as a personal associate of the Lord; and Salokya, living on a Vaikuntha planet. Devotees never accept Sayuja, however, since that is oneness with Brahman. I should personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nama Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I should make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the 4 mellows of loving devotional service. I shall accept the role of a devotee, and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself. Unless one practices devotional service himself, he cannot teach it to others. This conclusion is indeed confirmed throughout the Gita and Bhagavatam. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. If I did not show the proper principles of religion, all these worlds will fall into ruin. I will be the cause of unwanted population and will spoil all these living entities. This is all quotes from Bhagavad Gita. Whatever actions a great man performs, common people follow, and whatever standard he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So this part that follows is very relevant for what we're hearing. My plenary portions can establish the religious principle. My plenary portion can establish the principles of religions for each age. No one but me, however, can bestow the kind of loving service performed by the residents of Braja. So Krishna is speaking. There may be many all auspicious incarnations of the personality of Godhead, but who other than Lord Sri Krishna can bestow love of God upon the surrendered souls? Therefore, in the company of my devotees, I should appear on earth and perform various colorful pastimes. Thinking thus, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself, descended at Nadia early in the age of Kali. So, only Krishna personally is able to give this most intimate relationship or exchanges of devotion, loving devotional service to the living entity. Other expansions of the Lord, they establish devotional service also. But the mood is different. So, like it is explained that, say, when Krishna speaks in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the manifestation of Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra is Vasudeva Krishna. Is not Vrindavan Krishna, but is Vasudeva Krishna. So Vasudeva Krishna gives a devotional service, but that devotional service is accompanied by awe and reverence. And awe and reverence, when one is in that position of awe and reverence, the devotional service is tinged with always that display of servitorship and other manifestations of other rasas is not able to fully manifest. It's hampered. So how can you be friends with someone so great? When Arjuna realized that, because Arjuna is in, he have this mix, just like Vasudeva and Devaki has a mix rasa of parental, but also mixed with awe and reverence. So he bounces between the two. Arjuna also bounces between friendship and awe and reverences. So when Arjuna, when the awe and reverence parts becomes, goes to the forefront, then Arjuna becomes horrified to think that he was having these intimate exchanges with Krishna, joking around and sitting in the same bed and eating together, even sometimes from the same plate. And he becomes horrified because, with awe and reverence, one sees oneself like a tiny speck, and Krishna is so unlimitedly great. So that relationship, the full manifestation of friendship, the full manifestation of parental, the full manifestation of conjugal is contained by awe and reverence. Same with Lakshmi Devi. So she sits at Lord Vishnu's lotus feet, massaging his lotus feet. And so she have the position of servitorship. So even Lakshmi Devi, when she was able to observe the exchanges that were there in the Rasa Lila dance of the gopis with Lord Krishna, she was very, very attracted, and she wanted to participate because it's not an experience that she has. And because that awe and reverence was there, she was not allowed to enter, because that was going to disturb mood. So she had to perform austerities for trying to enter into that. So, however, when Lord Krishna speaks the Bhagavad Gita, he gives the principle. Prabhupada, just in this narration of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami give us entrance of Krishna thinking. And Krishna is thinking also, is giving us also a deeper understanding of his instructions on the Bhagavad Gita. That in reality is that same Krishna, although it was Vasudev Krishna who is present and instructing Arjuna, he was still has this great purpose when he appears into this material world, and this is what we hear in this series of verses. He came to deliver, he came to give this cult of bhakti that you find only in Vrindavan. So in the Bhagavad Gita we receive the understanding of what allows that cult of bhakti of Vrindavan, that is exemplified in the highest level by the Brijavasis. And in this case we are appreciating the highest level of parental love that is found, in Vrindavan, in the activities on the person of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda. So Krishna tells us that our devotion should be exclusive to Krishna, exclusive devotion. Mam ekam saranam braja. That our focus, our meditation, our thinking should be exclusively devoted to Krishna. That our devotion, our activities, everything is exclusively dedicated to Krishna. And that is the example of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, and that's what Maharaj Parikshit is appreciating, and that's what Sukadev Goswami is communicating to Maharaj Parikshit, that the devotion of Mother Yashoda is so focused on Krishna that nothing else is disturbing. Even Krishna showing his opulences, her affection and her single focus on just loving Krishna at her child, it doesn't even blink. So Lord Chaitanya then comes to basically fulfill, or Krishna manifests, better to say, Krishna appears as Lord Chaitanya to fulfill that purpose, the purpose of delivering to the suffering conditioned souls of this world the opportunity to receive this highest manifestation of bhakti that is only present in Vrindavan, that is not tinged by awe and reverence, but is simply a focus on this most exalted exchange of love between the living entity and Krishna. And that's something that is just beyond our capacity to understand if we even try to analyze it. The opportunity that is given to us, that even personalities like Lakshmi Devi, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, they're aspired, or they want to actually desire to enter So the admiration and the appreciation of these great exalted personalities that are associates of the Lords in Vrindavan and that exemplify this most elevated position is something that, just like Maharaj Parikshit is appreciating, just like Sukadeva Goswami is appreciating, we also should appreciate, and that's the great gift of the Srimad Bhagavatam that allows to associate just by the purpose of hearing. And then what Srila Prabhupada tells us, that simply by following the activities of Vrindavan, we will also develop the devotional service in the highest perfection. So we have the opportunity to follow in the footsteps of these great exalted personalities, the Brijavasis. So that much I can say is this is a subject matter that is way over my head. But at least that appreciation I can express. Any comments or questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for your class. You were mentioning, I think, something related to the purport. I don't remember your exact words, but basically, always engaging in devotional service continuously. You know, in this purport, in this verse, it mentions Vasudeva and Devaki. I don't have the verse open now, but there are the names. Maybe they always continuously engage in devotional service. And then purport, Prabhupada mentions. In the purport, he mentions, and then the next verse essentially mentions the same things, that by performing devotional service, one's spiritual bliss increases. So what came to mind is that verse from the Bhagavatam 126 that says, Savai pum sam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adok sije ahaitu kiya pratihata yayatma supersidati. A lot of times people think we're fanatic. Why are you always engaging in devotional service? Well, one thing that came to mind, a couple of things, is that His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj made a good analogy. He says that the heart is engaged in serving the body 24 hours a day. If it were to take a break, go on vacation, or take a nap, we will all die. So much the same way we're engaging in devotional service all the time, because without it, we'll spiritually die. And we see that, one of my favorite analogies is that we see that any machine is attractive when it's connected to its power source and unattractive when it's disconnected from its power source. We see that if you unplug a fan, instead of the fan increasing its speed, it may appear to be the same speed, but gradually it's going to decrease. So we see that there's so many examples in the scriptures of people who did sense gratification, but gradually their happiness decreased. I'll just use the example of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, when he saw the Mohini Murti form, he discharged semen. And in one of Prabhupada's purports, he says that that's the nature of material sense gratification. As soon as you discharge semen, then you have no more lusty desire. It decreases. And we see that all forms of sense gratification. I think the Bhagavad Gita 18.37, 1838 says, happiness in the mode of goodness appears to decrease at first, but it actually increases. Just like if you eat vegetables, it appears to, for a child, it appears your happiness decreases, but it actually increases. On the other hand, happiness in the mode of passion, it appears to initially increase, but it actually decreases and leads to untold types of misery, as we see repeatedly. So if I had to ask a question, I think we're all probably could compare our lives less like Prahlad or Haridasa Kaur and more like the pastime that's coming up, Nala Kuvada and Manigriva. The only way we'll seriously take the devotional service is if, you know, the Lord gives us some serious reaction, because that's the nature. We may not just be engaged in self-destructive activities for ourselves, but the nature of sense gratification. Bhaktivinoda knows how Thakur says the most destructive type of sense gratification in his bhajan, Amar Jivan. He says, I resist all, in Amar Jivan, his bhajan, My Life, he says, I resist all pious deeds, yet I am very active and enthusiastic to perform wicked acts. He also says, I am remorseful to see others happy, and the misery of others is a great source of pleasure for me. Sense gratification, that's my pleasure. And we see, so a lot of times we think, we only think in terms of sense gratification, you know, pornography or something that's, you know, not going to really harm anybody. But we don't think in terms of sense gratification of seeing somebody fall down. Like a lot of times we hear this devotee fall down. We never hear this devotee rose up and overcame his addictions. So my question is that what are some steps we can move forward to gain the realization that actually sin and misery as others is sense gratification, and it's the most detrimental type of sense gratification? Because we see that the Lord gave his mercy to Bilva Mangal Thakur, but he didn't give his mercy to Hiranyakashipu, who performed the sense gratification of trying to gain happiness by killing someone, slandering someone, etc. So, so maybe you could extract some points of that, because I feel like a lot of times people feel very bad when I have my anarthas, but a lot of times people don't feel bad when they have their anarthas of trying to destroy others or destroy their reputation. And we see that if you commit aparas, then your consciousness go down and down, you'll lose your taste for Krishna consciousness. So maybe you could extract some points from that, a little bit, some points came to mind.
Well, one thing that comes to mind is the appreciation of the mercy of Shishi Govardhan Nitai, because the example of delivering Jagai and Madai, despite of, you know, Jagai and Madai even having performed a terrible, you know, like trying to kill Lord Nityananda. So that's what greater offense could be there. I mean, Lord Chaitanya was ready to kill them because of that offense. He was not going to give mercy. But then it's when it comes Lord Nityananda's like supreme mercy. So we are living in a time that is basically ruled by the mercy of Shishi Gaur Nitai, and is there, is just in the process of floating, you know, the whole universe as per the narration of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So so people will be touched. Demons will be touched. Demons are being touched. The world is being touched. In one sense, we may not be able to see it, but because we're also in the process of clearing our capacity of understanding and see properly, you know, the spiritual influence that is there by Lord Chaitanya's movement. So it's a matter of time, in one sense. It's a matter of time that a purification will happen. I mean, we know that as per Lord Chaitanya, we live in this, there's this window that we are right now, we're living in this very special window in which is going to be like golden age of Satya Yuga within Kali Yuga. So it's going to happen. It's just right now we're still, you know, in the dawn of that golden age. So you see in dawn, the sun start to rise, but you don't see the sun. You just see the light that start to, the darkness start to dissipate. And then at one point, the sun you see in the horizon. So right now, we're not seeing the sun yet, but we see light. We see that, darkness is dissipating. So it's this particular moment will be in part. So it's going to happen. It's a small window though. 10,000 years in comparison to 432,000 years is just a fraction. So we cannot be complacent. so it's the opportunity for people in Kali Yuga. So yeah, it's the appreciation that I have from reading this, that it came to mind, was that Krishna comes to give this culture of Krishna Bhakti, and we are receiving it by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. We're receiving the opportunity to actually embrace and try to absorb and live within this culture of bhakti. Learn. Prabhupada explains that there's a very fantastic. There's no. Let me see if I found. It's a class that Prabhupada gave. There is no alternative for human society but Krishna consciousness. Oh, no. He is in the purport of, I think, the verse 49. Yes, that we don't fully appreciate the risks that we're taking by pursuing sense gratification. We don't understand what we're doing. We're playing, basically. We're doing something extremely risky. And we can lose everything. It's like people gambling or something like that, taking a risk, or people who are, go and do all these crazy extreme sports, and they're risking their life. So many of them, they get killed just by doing that type of thing. Stupid things. What's the use of, who in the world wants to put his head in the mouth of a crocodile? Why would you do that? But, or why would you actually jump out of a, skyscraper, or, why? So, foolish persons do not, Prabhupada, right? Foolish persons do not know how risky life is here if one does not follow the instructions of Krishna. The Krishna consciousness movement, therefore, has been started so that by practicing Krishna consciousness, one can avoid the risky life of this material existence. There is no question of accepting or not accepting Krishna consciousness. It's not optional. It is compulsory. If we do not take to Krishna consciousness, our life is very risky. Everything is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, to learn how to become free from the miserable condition of material existence, Bhagavad Gita as it is the preliminary study. Then if one understands Bhagavad Gita, one can proceed to Srimad Bhagavatam. And if one advances further, one may study Chaitanya Charitamrita. We are therefore presenting these invaluable books to the whole world so that people may study them and be happy, being delivered from miserable condition of life. So, is happening, is there. Prabhupada just is presenting, you know, is the general of the Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya, who is taking this into, you know, worldwide. So we can expect that. Great, no? All right, anything else?
Can I mention one last?
Do it quickly because we're past time.
The Jagai Madai pastime, you were mentioning that Lord Chaitanya gave them the mercy, but there's a reason why he gave them the mercy. I'm not sure which one of them, but either Jagai Madai prevented the other one from throwing, you know, like a metal pot at Jagai Madai, and Nityananda told Lord Chaitanya, one of them actually saved me, and then he gave them, they were kind of remorseful, one of them, and then the Lord Chaitanya. So there's a nice, also in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Lord Chaitanya also tells the community of Vaishnavas, if you see Jagai and Madai, according to their past sins, and not as purified Vaishnavas, then you'll be destroyed. And that reminds me of my favorite quote, a nice quote. It says, the reason the rearview mirror on your car is smaller than a windshield is because what's in your past is not nearly as important as in your future. Every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. And we see that if somebody's absorbed always constantly in their past, or in their rearview mirror, they'll get in a car accident. So we see that the devotees who are absorbed in their past anarthas, they can't perform devotional service. On the other hand, we see that some people are so proud. There's so many verses. I mean, there's so many pastimes, but I won't mention them. I'll just say general. In the scriptures, there's many pastimes where celibate monks are so proud that they say, I have no rearview mirror, I have no past. I'll just mention a quote, and maybe the devotees can look it up later. If you read Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Kand, chapter 21, it talks about a proud monk named Devananda Pandit. So basically, long story short, I'm not going to tell the story, but basically, we see that if the same principle applies, even if, for argument's sake, you have no past, you have no rearview mirror. If you look in somebody else's rearview mirror, their faults, then the same principle, you'll get in a car accident. And this is what Devananda Pandit, he saw the faults of a great Vaishnava, Srivas Thakur. Even though he was celibate his whole life, he said, I don't have a sinning past, I don't have a rearview mirror. But he was looking in the rearview mirror of his so-called faults, and Lord Chaitanya blasted him for that. And he was like, you are not the proper speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, because you're giving Bhagavatam, but you're criticizing someone who's crying in love for Krishna in Bhagavatam class. So anyway, I'd like to share those points, but you could look that up, so that's a good pastime. So nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Krishna. Okay, thank you everybody. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.